I think that people have, they just think that they can't do something. It's hard rather than unfamiliar. I want to know, what was there a revelation that unlocked something in your pursuit to improve? Not on stage, you spoke of that incredibly eloquently, but what about here, alone?
In the practice.
And you're like, I'm trying to work through this, and it's not that. What were some ways to help you unlock negativity or things where you just thought, this isn't for me?
Sure. The biggest thing for me was, a lot of people get to a point when they're trying to practice, do something, and they're like, wow, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to do this. And they give up, and then,
Did you feel that way?
Yeah, a number of times, especially as a young kid. And I was watching, all these people that were older than I was killing the game. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to understand that kind of stuff. I'll never be able to wrap my ears around
in a way,
this kind of stuff.
You may have actually had it harder as a kid because you saw all of these people playing at a high level. And then you sit down and you're like,
absolutely, yeah. I'm like, how am I going to live up to this, And I'm like, oh gosh, there's no way I'll be as good as these guys,
Yeah, that could have held you back.
Absolutely. I bet there were some mental blocks in there.
Wow.
Seeing so many talented people, yeah.
How do you think you unlocked it?
I think the biggest thing was, what I realized is the concept of learning how to learn. That I felt like no one had taught me that, okay, when you learn something, you can look at it from and everyone learns differently. So this worked for me. It might not work for everybody. But once someone kind of explained, like, look, if you take anything and you break it down to a small enough little piece of information, you can learn that one little piece of information. You can learn that. It might be one note, but you did learn it.
Yeah.
I learned the first note of the piece on my left hand. You're right. You got one check mark. You did it. Let's learn the second note. Then memorize the whole first, bar of just your left hand. Play it 7 times in a row. Check, I did that. Well, I realized if you slow all of those little things down far enough, you can learn the hardest thing in the world if you slow it down enough. And I think people think that they have to sit down, play everything all the way through fast, up to tempo, the way they want it to. And you say what I would suggest everyone do is say, wait a minute. As soon as you want to learn something new, literally slow it down, to at least 1/2. If go even further than that, 75% slower.
As slow as it needs to be.
As slow as it needs to be.
Slow as it needs to be.
And make it compartmentalized initially. Take this little part that you don't think you'll ever be able to do, and just focus on that one thing.
You know what that requires?
Discipline.
I wasn't going to say that, but I like that. I think it's Scotch-Romanian. But no, it absolutely requires discipline and patience.
Sure, very much.
Because that's good. You're like, well, wait, what? I gotta learn a 16-bar thing. You're telling me go 1 bar at a time?
Yeah, 100%.
And but I think if someone has the discipline to be patient.
Yep, I like that.
Then we're going to trademark that.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, you can really accomplish anything.
And
you just got to persevere.
And I think that's a life lesson. If you want to learn how to build a car, if you want to learn how to do something. I remember after wrapping my head around that musically, with especially classical music. That's why classical, I think, study is important for people that really want to excel on some higher levels. Because some of the classical music is so ridiculous.
You talk about discipline.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Like some of the Bach stuff. I know for me as a pianist, the Bach stuff that I tried to wrap my head around was so hard for me.
Yeah.
But I remember because I had to slow it down so much, I felt like everything else was so much easier.
Yeah.
Once I learned how to play some of those fugues, I was like, oh my gosh, this other stuff seems it's like simple. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, but it taught me how to slow everything down, take my time. I did have to be patient, but I wanted it. I wanted to learn how to do it right and do it well. So I thought I learned how to learn, by going through that process. And then I felt like I could do anything. So then it gave me confidence to be like, well, whoa, I learned this 8 bars. Well, I don't know what the next 8 bars look like. I bet I could do it, and then I did it, and then I just got better at it. When you learn how to learn, you get better at learning too.
Yeah.
Then you're quicker at wrapping your head around new ideas and new concepts. So it's kind of all, again, block building, and it becomes exponential in some ways, I think. So that was my experience, and that gave me confidence, knowing that as much of something might be handed to me, like, learn this, and I'm like, well, let's just start with bar 1. That's all I need to start with.
Yep.
And I
First step.
Yeah, I'm like, all we got to do is bar 1 right now, and we'll tackle bar 2 after we get through bar 1.